Now that I've identified what I believe to be the list for Epstein, aka his web, let's talk about his crown jewel honeypot, Mel's. Neurosurgeon Dr. Melanie Walker, who is #1 on the list that Epstein sent to Bannon when they were getting their cast together. Now, the story that she has always told was that she had just graduated from college in Texas when she met Epstein and Donald Trump outside of the plaza in 1992 when she was sightseeing in New York. And right off the bat, the story doesn't make sense because, as you can see, she was born in 1972. So if she met them in 1992, she would have been 20. Which is not when somebody usually graduates from undergrad. A suspicion that is confirmed when you look at this email of Melanie Walker in 2018, writing, "I've known Jeffrey 28 years, and this isn't a joke. Donald Trump introduced us." How did Trump introduce you if he met you at the same time as Epstein? But sure, that might be hyperbolic until you do the math, because this was 2018. 28 is a very specific number, and that math equals to 1990, meaning she was 18 when she met Epstein. She then relocated to Manhattan after Epstein told her that he could get her an audition for a modeling job with Victoria's Secret. Although she claims she never lived there, her address was listed at an apartment that Epstein owned. And after she finished medical school in Texas, Epstein hired her as his science advisor in 1998. And of course, I have to say this is all alleged and it's all my opinion, but the dots that I'm connecting is that Epstein sent Melanie Walker to medical school because she said so in Rolling Stones that Epstein tried to discourage her from a modeling career. Now, why would this billionaire who was actually friends with actual scientists hire this fresh out of medical school as his science advisor unless he was putting her on the payroll for something else in 1998? But her bio at her current job, World City Bank, says that she began her career as a physician and computer scientist, even though she has no degree in it. Well, what if I were to tell you that her partner is Steven Sinofsky, a senior executive at Microsoft, who in 1998, the same year that Walker was on his payroll, Sinofsky was a visiting scholar at Harvard Business School, where he worked with students enrolled in second-year classes on technology product development. 1998 also just happened to be the year that he was promoted to vice president of office, becoming senior vice president at Microsoft in 2000. Around that time, she also had a close friendship with Prince Andrew, attending Andrew's 40th birthday with Epstein and Maxwell. In fact, she met him the same year as Epstein in 1999. Now, the details of when and how this whole relationship progressed are very sparse, but by 2006, we know that she got a job working with Bill Gates at his foundation, where she then cozied up to Boris Nikolic, who was the science advisor for Bill Gates, and he was the one who introduced Epstein to Bill Gates. And both Boris and Bill are on the 2016 list, along with Sinofsky. And Melanie was coordinating the entire relationship between Bill Gates and Epstein. Now, this Hopkins right here on the list, I don't think is a person. I've looked. I think it's John Hopkins, where Melanie had very close ties. Now, I have so much more that I could talk about with this woman, but I'm just going to focus on 2 more points. Larry Ellison, who is in charge of Oracle, once spied on Bill Gates. They had a bitter rivalry for years, and Larry Ellison actually even tried to help the US government get Bill Gates on antitrust laws. Then suddenly, by 2015, Larry Ellison and Bill Gates are hanging out together. Well, in 2017, Melanie Walker is telling Epstein that Larry is running the office, not Bill Gates. But for some reason, Larry Ellison said that Bill Gates couldn't have contact with Epstein. And Epstein's like, he gets more from me than I do from him. It's fine. But Melanie says it's sad for her to stand there and watch Larry boss him around, not the same Bill I knew forever ago. It's almost like Larry has something over Bill. But it wasn't just Larry gatekeeping Epstein from Bill Gates, it was also his wife, saying that he loves Epstein, but it's his wife, even trying to make plans to get Kathy Rumler to convince Melinda to let him back in his life. And Epstein says he looks forward to the freedom from his long sentence one day. They famously got divorced in 2021, but Melinda Gates has now come out and said that it was his relationship with Epstein that caused it. Betrayed not only our marriage, but my values. But by Epstein, she didn't mean Epstein, because here we have the conversation between Epstein and Melanie talking about a former Surgeon General, and Epstein says, "Did you F?" And she's like, "Coop, are you crazy? He's dead." Not Coop, Bill. She says, "No. Members of his henchman team were covering the door outside for hours. We were going crazy. They would bring us coffee or a croissant every half hour, very closely watched, clearly having flirty conversations and everything." But then Epstein says, back to ? And she says, yes. Then find out that Melanie Walker has been fired by Melinda Gates and Bill had to intervene and give her like 6 months. Melinda Gates made it clear in the time that she had left in the organization that she was not to rock the boat or it will get more difficult. Yeah, Epstein's honeypot broke up Bill and Melinda Gates.